Jesus disarms his disciples because that's what it takes. We often have to be some form of disarmed in order to lose all of our standard defenses against the action of the Spirit, in order to sense it. This is why when we are suffering, we often have our most profound sense of the presence of God. It is why when we have some kind of border experience, something that removes us from our comfort zone, that we can feel something new and authentic. The kingdom has come near. Jesus forced this dynamic in his strategy for his disciples. He sent them out in a way that would make the people they encountered engage in hospitality, a very crucial part of the Middle Eastern culture to this day, and also would make the disciples receptive to such hospitality. They were to enter the homes of strangers, an action made easier by the fact that most homes at that time had a front area, a front room that was public property, a meeting area that was open to anyone. This was a deliberate strategy, an activism of the ancient world where Jesus' followers would confront the owners with the choice of being part of the kingdom movement by offering hospitality and enjoying its benefits through healing and teaching, or of turning away these uninvited would-be guests. The alternative of dropping in on friends along the way to say hello was forbidden. It would have thwarted the plan. The approach was quite confrontational. A verse left out, verse 12, illustrates the severity of the threat when it says that on that day that you wipe the dust off of your feet and leave that town, on that day it will be more tolerable for Sodom than for that town, the one that rejects Jesus' followers. Notice in that judgment that Sodom's sin was not homosexuality, as later generations made it, but failure to offer hospitality. The action plan of the disciples, and doubtless of Jesus himself, made hospitality central, especially in the shared meal. The response of faith was about willingness to share food, to be together in mutual acceptance and fellowship at a meal, eating whatever was placed in front of you. This was also a central symbol of hope. In their radical way, Jesus and his disciples after him were precipitating hope in meals in the here and now. These became celebrations of that hope, but also of inclusion and healing. Now, this is a long way from our modern strategy of mission. The architecture of houses in most societies does not lend themselves to this plan. But I wonder if the invitation to join the movement of God's kingdom does not sometimes work like this. It's not about selling a brand name, Christian, but sharing a vision of change in such a way that means real participation in making it real in the here and now. I suspect that there are many times that a fellowship of solidarity in commitment and work for change has been created when people who love, because of the influence of Jesus, join others who love. People who really care recognize others who really care. Here in this place, we practice this radical hospitality at the communion table. But this, my friends, is a ritual. It's designed to show us how this works symbolically, but our task is to be this table in the world. We are to confront people with hospitality, offering ours, asking for theirs. This is quite a different challenge in our culture of extreme individualism, of private property and legal framework. But this is what Jesus tells us. For we are part of that group of 70 handed down through the ages. And just because it is challenging doesn't mean that the harvest is not plentiful. It's just that the workers are few. It is why one of the primary tasks of a church today, here in our time and place, so surrounded by the empire, is to give people border crossings, to force the issue, to make us all practice and receive radical hospitality. It's what this table is all about. So, come, you few workers, to this ready harvest. Come to witness this peace and to know that the kingdom of God has come near. You don't even need to pack. Leave your purse and your bag. Leave your staff and your sandals. Leave your fears and anxieties. You can travel light. In fact, it's the best way to go.